Christ family, welcome back.
Good morning.
Hi. Morning. We're on lesson 277. This is entitled, Let Me Not Bind Your Son with Laws I Made. So in that title there, or the subject, your son, let's remember who is God's son. We are. We're one shared holy self. Our name is Christ. Okay, so that's your son that refers to. And when it says the laws I made, we're talking about that wish for separation, and it's a separate mind making in the thought of duality, God and something else, right? A life of separation. Okay, the gap. Thank you, the gap. All right. Your son is free, my father. Your son is free, my father. Let me not imagine I have bound him with the laws I made to rule the body. He is not subject to any laws I made by which I try to make the body more secure. He is not changed by what is changeable. He is not slave to any laws of time. He is as you created him because he knows no laws except the law of love. Let us not worship idols, nor believe in any laws idolatry would make to hide the freedom of the Son of God. He is not bound except by his beliefs. Yet what he is far beyond his faith in slavery or freedom. He is free because he is his Father's son, and he cannot be bound unless God's truth could lie, and God could will that he deceive himself. So God's Son, what we are in truth, beyond the gap, beyond the so-called separation, what we are in truth cannot be changed because God is changeless. Anything that changes only seems to occur in the gap. So he's saying that we as the Son of God in our true identity can never be affected or changed by any illusion, anything happening in the so-called world of separation. We as the Son of God are never slave to any of the so-called laws of time. Can we look at that? What are those so-called laws of time? The law that says you had a birth date, that what you are somehow entered into the gap in truth, that you were born into matter, that you are moving along a horizontal timeline, that certain laws affect the status of your well-being depending on the age that you are, that certainly the body will get older and begin to decay and have aches and pains and become sick. And ultimately, the grand law of time is that death is inevitable and actually natural. So what we are in truth, we are not slave to any of those beliefs. That's the ego, how it tried to shackle the Son of God. We're not slave to those so-called laws. We are, the Son of God is, as God created him. There's no law to change what God has decreed. And actually, it's because we know of no law except the law of love. That was what was written in our heart when love created us like itself. That's the truth. So he's speaking to us here in the total absolute, to locate yourself where you are in God, how you are spiritual, an idea in the mind of God, how you are. You are life eternal, without beginning, without end. that you share the mind of God, that God's life is all there is to your life, that you are not matter bound. This is all some supposed happening within a sleeping mind that can awaken and find itself where it truly is, at home in God. We're not bound, except if we choose to believe it. Yet what we are beyond our beliefs is so far beyond his faith and slavery or so-called freedom. He is free because he is his Father's son. Okay. Anything, sis?
No, I don't have anything to add to that. I'm listening, but no, I don't really have anything. I mean, the idols in the gap are the laws of the ego.
Yeah.
And, we've got to stand steadfast against them when we're tempted to believe in them.
Yeah. Well, what are some of those? I mean, when you look at this gap, remember it's, space-time, bodies, birth, death. It never occurred. We're really trying in a sleeping mind to carve out of God this place. And it's got all kinds of laws. Maybe if we can recognize some of the more prevalent ones, it would be more applicable to somebody listening to us right now. I mean, there's health laws that you can discount that have nothing to do with what you are in truth as the Son of God. There's laws of economics that don't bind you. You're not under the laws of whether the market's good or bad, or you've got great stocks or not, or it's a great housing economy, or because of a pandemic there's no housing. These are just beliefs that infiltrate this gap, but they don't affect you. And it's up to you to place yourself where you are, knowing that you're exempt from any of those so-called laws because you're not in that picture. You have a body that can move about in it as in service to God's will, but you're not there. You are here I'm under only the laws of God. Death is not a law that confines or describes you. It has no hold on you. Death can't find you. It thinks you're this, but you're not that. So what are God's laws? What are the laws that you're under? Eternal life, right? Perfect health, abundance, satisfaction, a mind at rest that moves at the impulse of love's hand, being in the flow, all obstacles removed, holiness, joy, union, the felt state, not words.
Incorruptible and changeless innocence. That's what we are. That's the essence of what we are.
That's it.
And when we really embody that and take that in, then we will be able to identify and move with God's laws.
Yes.
But while we still believe that we're corrupt in some way, then we're not going to really open to receive God's laws, to remember God's laws.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me not bind myself. Let me not bind my family. Let me not bind any brother with the ego's so-called laws. Let me not locate myself or any brother in the gap. Let me honor my brother and myself and God by affirming where we truly are, one son at home in God as God created us.
And to claim that.
Yeah.
Especially when we're triggered by somebody else, right?
Yeah, that's the response to any trigger. That affirmation. Turn away from what physical sense is reporting. You can do it. Turning away and just accepting, affirming what is true.
What fun.
It is fun once you get some traction going. It's a joy to stand witness to what God's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true, sis.
Okay,
Thank
lesson
you.
277. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, beautiful family. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.